Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to our continued breakdown and analysis series of the brand new gameplay trailer we received earlier today. In this video, we're going to be going over all of the confirmed main levels that we know so far in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. In fact, we actually know a substantial amount so far. It's kind of surprising, but before we get into all of these levels, Andreas, I believe we have a brief message.
That's right, Nick, we do. First off, I just wanted to ask our sponsor, General Grievous, a great question. General Grievous, I know that you've been standing next to Obi-Wan in all of my shots so far, and I know you guys have sort of a history, so I just wanted to ask you, how are you and Obi-Wan doing? Like, what was the last thing you told him?
General Kenobi, make peace with the Force now, for this is your final outing.
Hello there. Subscribe to Lunar Squadron.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, Obi-Wan. Yeah, I agree with you. Anyway, let's get into the video.
This is Lunar Squadron standing by. We are ready to make the jump to hyperspace. On my mark, Lunar Squadron.
Now, when it comes to the level structure in this game, we already know that there are going to be 9 films, and then those 9 films are going to be broken down into 5 levels each, for a total of 45 levels in this game. Now, what we just learned from this trailer is what 15 of these levels are, because we got to see 3 films, Episode 1, Episode 2, and Episode 4. Now, while there are these main levels in the game, 5 apiece per film, there are also a number of pre-levels which we did see as well. Now, later on, we are going to be releasing a series going episode by episode, breaking down how all of these pre-levels and main levels are intertwined, and walk you guys through each and every one of these levels. However, for now, we are going to focus on the main level system and just what the difference between pre-levels and main levels will be. What's the weight of the difference? Are pre-levels really going to be a discounted, watered-down version of a main level? We're going to be answering those questions here.
Now, before we jump into listing off the main levels for each episode that we saw in this trailer, I just want to cover some questions that we have been getting since this gameplay trailer dropped about the overall structure of these screenshots and how we know these are in fact the main levels. If you take a look at the pictures on this screenshot, you will see that all of the pre-levels are indicated by the word pre in their description. You see that on multiple of them. And then there are 5 main levels on each screenshot that do not have that. They just have the episode number, the dash, and then the number of the level that they are. So if you take a look at Escape the Core, it is 1-1, indicating that it is the first main level of episode 1. I just wanted to cover that because I know a lot of people have been asking questions about exactly how we are able to tell what the main levels from these screenshots are.
I guess the first place to start is with episode 1. We're going to be going through this chronologically and kind of hitting on the main levels here, starting with the first main level that we do see, which is Escape the Core. Nick, what do we expect from this first level?
Yeah, so this is the point in episode 1 where they're leaving Otogunga with Jar Jar and heading towards the city of Theed, and they're running from the big goober fish. So that's exactly what this is going to be. You're going to be going through the core of Naboo trying to escape the big goober fish. It's actually really interesting. I know we've kind of known this for a while, that this would be the first main level, but it's really crazy when just taking a look at this screenshot that we got earlier, how many pre-levels will be leading up to this. There are a lot. Like a solid, like the first 20-30 minutes of episode 1 will be covered by pre-levels, which was pretty crazy. And it was also really interesting that they are choosing this to be the first main level in this game. I thought that was really, really creative, to say the least.
And I think the reason that is that they want you to enter episode 1 in kind of the open world environment and then kind of find your way into an on-the-rails mission. Again, we kind of expected the first level of this episode to be an on-the-rails experience. Again, like you were saying, running from the big gooberfish or the OPC killer or whatever we want to call it. So I think that's why they're kind of settling on that for the first level. And also they've said in the past that they wanted to focus on new areas with Lego Star Wars. So that, again, just kind of follows that theme. Now, the second level that we do see, which is totally expected to be an on-the-rails experience yet again, is the Now That's Pod Racing sequence. Again, we expect this to be a full-on Boonta Eve classic where you are going to be participating as Anakin Skywalker against all odds, going to win this race in order to buy your freedom. What a cool level this is probably going to be. I just have a feeling like this is going to feel different. This and any other kind of ship or vehicle mission is just going to be different than before, just given the graphics and given the new third-person perspective of this game. I'm really expecting big things for this one, honestly.
The third main level in Episode 1 is a very good choice, and that is Retaken Naboo. Now, for this level, we are expecting both the Battle of Theed and the showdown between Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon to take place within the same level, because the other main levels that are listed do not deal with the Battle of Theed, so we are guessing that the lead up into the Darth Maul showdown will include that whole battle sequence through the streets of Theed. Really cool. To me, Andreas, the interesting thing here is the fact that they are going for the battle with Darth Maul first here. There are still going to be 2 levels, main levels, after this level, and in my opinion, I've always felt like the showdown with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan was the pure climax of this film, so very interesting choice that this will actually take place in the middle of the main levels for Episode 1.
Yeah, it really was kind of historically that last level in the complete saga. Maul was the last level. Now, I do think and expect third level to be a massive level. Like you were saying, you have to, in the process of retaking Naboo, retake Theed Palace. And so all of that is going to have to be involved in this level, culminating with that fight against Maul. So I'm expecting just a massive level. I think this is going to be probably the biggest level, maybe second only to the next level, which is the Battle of Naboo. So the first part of this level is very much going to be that third person over the shoulder in the trenches on the Great Grass Plains in the Battle of Naboo. And then the second half of this battle is going to be that kind of overall strategy kind of military game that we did see first of all with the last trailer, and we saw it yet again with this brand new dump of gameplay. So just this level is expected to be massive as well. And again, the way that it is in Episode 1, kind of the Maul, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan fight, the Battle of Naboo, and then, Anakin in the N1 Starfighter are kind of interlaced in the finale of that film. So I see how they felt like the liberty to kind of shuffle these levels around, and it's possible to do it this way. So it does make some sort of sense, even though it is different from what we're used to seeing. But that said, they decide to culminate with Anakin Skywalker, huh?
Yeah, and Andreas, to be completely honest with you, I was perhaps most surprised by this being the 5th and final level out of all of the levels that we saw confirmed today, and that being Command Ship. Now, in my opinion, Andreas, how I think this is going to go down is this obviously deals with the final space battle at the end of Episode 1. I'm imagining it is going to start with that sort of command ship battle on the outskirts of the ship, on the outside, and then you will then infiltrate the ship, take it down from the inside, just like Anakin Skywalker does in the movie. And honestly, it looks like it will be a lot of fun to go inside of a command ship and take it down from the inside. I just gotta say, I'm really surprised that this is one of the main levels in this game, and the fact that it is coming in last after both the showdown with Darth Maul and the Battle of Naboo. Very surprising, but they did say they were going to try and get very creative with these levels that they picked to make it different than previous LEGO Star Wars games, and we definitely see that here with the 5 main levels that they picked for Episode 1.
So now we will move on to the next episode, which is Episode 2, and they really do start off in a very cool place. Another expected on-the-rails experience. I'm starting to see a theme here with that, actually. This is Assassination is what they're calling this one, which is obviously when Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker are chasing Zam Wesell throughout the streets of Coruscant, or the skies of Coruscant, I guess. How excited are we for this one, Nick?
Yeah, this one has a ton of potential for me, just because I love Coruscant so much. So flying through the skies or streets of Coruscant and just getting to experience that is going to be so special. I am so excited to just see Coruscant like this. I really am. And it's so awesome that this is going to be the first main level in episode 2. Now, before we jump into level 2, the second main level, I know, Andres, you wanted to touch on the whole Kamino side of things when it comes to Attack of the Clones.
That's right. And I mean, the reason being is when you look at level 2, it's pretty far away in this movie, right? Level 2 is the hunt for Django, which is when Obi-Wan is chasing Jango Fett kind of around the inner space of Geonosis, which means that they've completely skipped over Kamino. And I think we can actually learn a lot from that. What that means is that the Kamino sequences in this game are going to be pre-levels. And so for those of you who are thinking that pre-levels are going to be skimped out on, aren't going to be given the level of attention that they deserve, I would turn your attention to Kamino as proof rebutting that entirely, because that would mean that they created an entire planet for this pre-level, which is crazy. And we've seen extensive footage from this level. We even see confirmation of a boss fight in this pre-level. So I don't think pre-levels are going to be these short, kind of skimped out on experiences. I think these are going to still be in depth. They're just not going to be as on the rails as the main levels. They're going to be kind of a bit more open, so you can expect to kind of explore Kamino in those pre-level sequences. So that's my general takeaway on that.
Now, the third level should probably feel pretty familiar if you've played LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, and that is the Geonosis infiltration sequence with Anakin, Padme, C-3PO, R2, and all of that. Personally, I'm incredibly excited for this level. I know this is kind of a polarizing level in the community. I know some people really love it, some people are kind of and some people really hate this. Personally, I remember really loving this level in the Complete Saga, so I'm really excited to see how this is reimagined in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Really hyped for this, and to me, Andreas, this being the third level makes a ton of sense for this game, as there really is, once you get past that Kamino sequence, to me, 3 main sequences that happen in Attack of the Clones, and this being one of them. And the fourth one is one of the other ones I was thinking about.
Yeah, the fourth one is the Geonosian Arena, also known as the Petronaki Arena. They're just calling the mission the Geonosian Arena. One cool bit that we have confirmation of just from this screenshot is you can kind of make out the acolyte in the back. We always knew that that the Reek would be in the game because we saw it in one of the earlier videos. However, we always wondered if the acolyte would also be in the Petronaki Arena. That's confirmation right there. Now all we need is the Nexu, and then we have a party. So that said, what is the 5th level of Episode 2, Nick?
Yeah, which is the most obvious sequence in Attack of the Clones for being the final level, and that is the showdown with Count Dooku between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And then I'm also expecting the same with Yoda. I'm expecting the first portion of this final main level to be the Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Count Dooku sequence, and then the second part of this final mission to be Yoda versus Count Dooku, since those are just both very big separate moments within this battle sequence in the film. So I'm expecting both of those, which is going to be really cool. This is going to be a really fun mission because we're going to get to fight Count Dooku as Anakin and Obi-Wan and then get to do it again with Yoda, just get those kind of duality of experiences. Very excited for this one. I'm really looking forward to getting to play through Attack of the Clones. They have a lot of cool main levels and honestly a ton of really cool pre-levels.
Honestly, I'm so excited for us to do our in-depth video on Episode 2 to kind of sink our teeth into the pre-levels for this episode, because Episode 2 was just kind of made for video games, wasn't it, Nick? Like, I'm so excited to play through this. Now, one thing I want to note before we get to the last level is, TT Games, why'd you skip Episode 3? You gave us Episode 1, you gave us Episode 2, you let us all on, and then you give us Episode 4 for the third one. I'm happy we got 3, but like, for us prequel guys, like, you did us dirty a little bit there. But
completely
anyway,
intentional, trust me. There's a reason they hit the third one.
I know. Now, honestly, I really love the way that the first mission, or the first level in Episode 4 is laid out. And that is, you can clearly see that it kind of has 2 halves to it. The first half, you are going to be playing as Princess Leia on the Tantive 4. This level is called a diplomatic mission. As you guys know, is kind of anything but a diplomatic mission. But In any event, it starts off with Princess Leia, and then there is a mid-cut scene where Leia kind of hands, the plans off to R2-D2, and then you're actually going to play the second half of this level as R2-D2, and I suspect C-3PO as well, just from earlier footage. Just a cool new way to play this level, which I think is very clever here.
Yeah, I'm honestly, again, just another really cool way of handling how these main levels will be composed in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, the second level actually takes place over quite a few jumps within A New Hope, as all of the Tatooine sequences leading up to Mos Eisley and escaping Mos Eisley and the Millennium Falcon are pretty much covered in pre-levels and cutscenes. The second main level in A New Hope is actually called A Hunk of Junk, and we actually got our first real look at it in the gameplay trailer from earlier today, the behind-the-scenes sequence. There was a couple different moments where they showed off different sequences of this level. From what it looks like, you will be putting the Millennium Falcon back together as you fight off waves of stormtroopers. This looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and again, another creative way to handle the way the story went down in A New Hope. I cannot wait to play on this level just because I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really intense trying to put the Falcon back together while you're trying to hold off waves of stormtroopers. Just sounds like a ton of fun to me.
And then once you're able to get that hunk of junk off the ground and into the air, you are ultimately going to take it to the Death Star, which is where you are going to be hanging out for the next 2 levels in this movie. Now, the next level, level 3, is Princess Rescue. This is, again, a classic in other LEGO Star Wars video games. However, we don't really have any footage of this one so far, and I think the only look that we have of this one is actually in this shot itself, which is a very low-res shot, but you can see that you are using Luke and Han in the Stormtrooper disguises with Chewie on the Death Star. So again, that is the first Death Star level, and then there is a second one, right, Nick?
Yeah, and I actually think level 3 and level 4 make some of the most sense, because when I think of A New Hope, I really think of these 2 sequences within this film, both rescuing the princess and then escaping the Death Star, as two main sequences that are very separate from each other, even though they both happen on the Death Star. And the 4th level is called Some Rescue. Now, from this screenshot, we actually see them within the trash compactor, so it looks like you're going to have to escape the trash compactor. And then we do have a couple different shots from throughout the gameplay trailers of this level, or what we believe to be this level. Now, the big question I do have, Andreas, in regards to this level, are we going to get the showdown between Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader?
You know what? That's a great question, and that would be a great thing to play through, honestly. I would love if it gave us, the controls with Ben Kenobi there. That would be very cool, and I would love to see that, but I'm not sure, how they would get from escaping the trash compactor to, the Ben Kenobi v Darth Vader thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they just did it like in the movie where you're using Luke, and then you kind of just see it happen. However, the final level that we are going to go over, and the final level for episode 4, is the Battle of Yavin. We've seen this one quite extensively. This is the, of course, infamous battle where Luke Skywalker blows up the Death Star with a little bit of help from the Force. Now, this is obviously going to be the culmination of this movie, right? Like, we kind of all expected this one, right, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like it's broken up exactly how you would expect. It's going to be broken up with them approaching the Death Star and fighting off the various TIE fighters that come after them, and then we will get that infamous trench run as the final sequence within A New Hope, which is really cool. Now, I do want to note before we jump on is that it looks like all of the Yavin sequences are actually going to be handled in pre-levels, but it's really cool that we're going to see the whole traveling to Yavin sequence from A New Hope and all of the stuff that happens on the Rebel base at Yavin. I just really wanted to point that out because I'm really excited about that. But, it was no surprise. It makes a ton of sense, perhaps the most sense out of any of these that we've listed off so far, that the whole trench run and blowing up the Death Star just has to be the final level in A New Hope. It just makes the most sense for this.
Well, there you have it, guys. Those are the 15 confirmed levels that we have so far, and you got to hear, kind of our thoughts on the selection of these levels, how TT Games is kind of going to be breathing new life into this game, kind of selecting topics that they haven't really honed in on in the past in some instances. So let us know in the comments down below what your guys' thoughts are on this. Are you excited that they're going to be focusing on some of these new parts? Are you concerned? Or alternatively, have some of your concerns been quelled after we kind of addressed some of those points about Kamino, for example, being a pre-level? Are you less concerned about the pre-levels in this game kind of being, these quick write-offs? Now, please let us know in the comments down below what you guys think about that, because we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please do consider hitting that little red subscribe button and clicking the bell notification button. It's going to let you know whenever we upload the latest and greatest LEGO Star Wars content, including the next 3 breakdowns of each of these movies with all of the pre-levels. We're going to be going in depth in the weeds as we do in Lunar Squadron fashion to let you guys know exactly what to expect from episodes 1, 2, and 4 in this game. However, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.